Today we're going to be talking about making summaries. This is for EDRD 4302, Section 70. My name is Carly Drake, and the books we will be going over today is The Oregon Trail, Weekend Campout, and Albert Einstein. These are today's TEKs. So first we're going to talk about paragraph shrinking. So paragraph shrinking is when students take a paragraph and summarize it into a sentence about its main points. When this is completed for all paragraphs, students will add the sentences together and it forms a passage summary. So pretty much you're just taking each paragraph from your passage and you're going to summarize it into a sentence about the main point from that paragraph. And then you're going to do this to all the paragraphs in your passage, and then at the end, you just put all those sentences together and it makes a summary. So we're going to go over our first example. Okay, so the way west. In the early 1800s, Lewis and Clark explored the territory midwest of the Mississippi. No one knew what they would find. As they traveled, they made maps. They wrote in their journals. They described miles and miles of beautiful land with tall trees, good soil, and rushing rivers. So out of this, I highlighted what I thought was the main ideas. So this is what I took away from that, is that Lewis and Clark explored the territory, they made maps, and they wrote in journals about what they saw. And so then I'd write a sentence about it, and I wrote, Lewis and Clark explored territory to the west, made maps, and they wrote about what they saw. It sums up what the paragraph was about. All right, we're going to do the next paragraph, and as you can see, I left my paragraph up at the top that I completed with the sentence to the side. So we're together going to do this next paragraph and try to decide what we think is the main point and what we think we should make our sentence out of. So if you look over here to the side, I have questions to ask yourself. What is important? Who is this about? And what is the main point of this paragraph? So the main point is also part of what is important. And if it's no longer talking about Lewis and Clark, that is whenever we're going to figure out who is it about. So let's read this next paragraph, and while I'm reading it, I want you to think to yourself about these three questions, and then we'll talk about sentences or key points that we think are important. All right. News about the wonders of the West spread. People began to dream about a new life in the land, and before long, they began traveling west on the Oregon Trail. At first, there were only a few adventures. In 1843, 200 families crossed the Oregon Trail. Then, in 1848, gold was discovered in California. Soon after, thousands of people began to head west, hoping to make their dreams come true. All right, so after reading that, what do you think were a few of the main points out of this paragraph? Yes, that the news of the West spread made people want to go west. Who else can give me one more? Oh, yes, that how it went from two people to hundreds of people to thousands of people going west. Okay, so here is what I highlighted about this topic, and it's about the news being spread to the west and that people started going there, and then it led to thousands of people heading west. So, what is a good sentence that we can use? Okay, that's great. We'll use that one. Okay, we're gonna put, as the news spread, thousands headed west, hoping to make their dreams come true. Good job, guys. Now we're going to talk about the next part of this passage. And we're going to do this on our own. And as you can see over here to the side, I have those questions that we had from the previous slide, along with the final summary. So look at this paragraph, figure out what you think is important, and write your own sentence. You're going to put what you think your sentence should be on the green line in the bottom. All right, for rule-based summary, it's a little different than the one we just did. So what it is it uses the rules following and it creates a summary. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take out non-important stuff from the passage. Then you're going to take out information that's repeated. So if it's like, Jake has a cat, and then it's like, Jake's sister has a cat. Well, they both have a cat, so maybe you mark out Jake has a cat, so you know him and his sister both have the cat. All right, so we're going to move on to 3. 3 is use general terms for a list of words. So this means that if you have different words like elm, oak, redwood, those are all describing different types of trees. So the general term for that would just be trees rather than listing out a bunch of different types of trees. And so then you find your topic sentence, and if it does not have a topic sentence, you create one. So we've figured out what topic sentences are in our own writing. So this is just going to be applied in what we're looking for to summarize. So here is our passage, a piece of our passage that we are going to be doing. So I want everybody to take a look at it. All right, so I'm going to read this part of the passage to you, and then I will show you what rule-based summary looks like. So, the Franco family loves to be outdoors. They spend almost every weekend camping. Frey Franco adores camping more than anything. She will even pitch her tent in her backyard just to sleep outside. Faye has been to lots of campgrounds. Mar Vista Shores is her favorite. The campsites are in the tall trees. Each spot has a beach view. At Mar Vista Shores, noisy bird calls wake Faye up early. She hears the loud squawking and jumps up for breakfast. Then she packs a picnic. Faye and her dad drive to the trailhead. It is the place where the hiking trail starts. They choose a path to take. Dad carries the day pack. It holds a first aid kit, sweatshirts, food, and water. The path leads sharply uphill to a waterfall. It is a steep climb. They hungrily devour their lunch by the riverbank. From the rocks, they can watch the water plummet over the cliff. All right, so from this, I went ahead and marked out what I thought was not important and that repeated information. So it's going to be marked out in red, and my topic sentence will be highlighted in yellow. All right, so this is what it's going to look like whenever you do it for yourself. So then you take your information, you take your topic sentence and the information you did not mark out, and you create your own summary. This is my summary. It says, Frey Franco loves to camp. Mar Vista Shores is her favorite campsite because she wakes up to noisy bird calls. She packs a picnic, and she and her dad drove to the trailhead. The path leads to a waterfall where they hungrily eat their lunch. All right, so y'all are gonna help me do this one. I have the rules down at the bottom, and so go ahead, take a minute to read this little paragraph, and we're gonna do it together. All right, can anybody tell me a few things that are not very important? Yes, that it's afternoon. Like, for this little information, the fact that it's afternoon is not necessarily important. Yes, that the mom is a rock hound is repetitive because it says in the next sentence that she hunts for neat-looking stones. Yes, it says Faye makes sandcastles, and that's all nice and summed up, but then it adds and it repeats that she uses wet sand to build high walls and towers, which is making a sandcastle. All right, so this is what I also put highlighted in yellow as the topic sentence, that her and her mom go to the seashore. This is important because this whole paragraph is about what her and her mom do at the beach. So we're going to make a summary for this. So it needs to talk about her and her mom going to the seashore, her mom looking for rocks, her building sandcastles, and then her looking in the tide pools for crabs and starfish. All right, so let's make that into a sentence. All right, Faye and her mom go to the seashore. Her mom looks for rocks while Faye makes sandcastles. Sometimes Faye looks in the tide pools for crabs and starfish. See? So let's move on to the next one, and you're going to try this one all on your own. And after we got it, you're going to talk to your neighbor about your summaries and see if nobody's summary is going to be the same, but see if y'all's summary has the same main points. See if your summary has the main topic. So these use these last two paragraphs right here, make your summary, and discuss with the partner. All right, now we're going to talk about collaborative strategic reading, otherwise known as CSR. So CSR is about reading comprehension strategies and cooperative learning groups. So it gives you at the bottom it says there are 4 strategies. So it gives you 4 comprehension strategies to help you better understand what you're reading. And the cooperative learning groups is because this one you do with a group. Some we will do as a class, and some you will do in smaller groups, like 4 to 5 people, and some even smaller than that, like 3 to 2 people. So first we're going to talk about the 4 steps. So step number 1 is to preview. So you're going to look at the page and you're going to make a guess, make a prediction about what you think this is going to be about. So you see a picture of a penguin. You're going to say, oh, I think this is about penguins. Okay. So moving on to number 2, it's called click and chunk. So click is whenever you're reading and you see a word and it makes sense to you. So those words are just clicking in your brain. Clunk is like you're getting hung up on something. So you find something out of the passage or the paragraph that is really getting like you're getting hung up on, and it's just difficult for you to understand, to figure out what it's talking about. So 3 is get the gist. The gist is kind of like what it's all about, if you don't know what the word gist means. So, um, you're going to summarize the main points in the paragraph. So, just like we used on our other strategies from earlier, we found the main points of paragraphs and passages, and we use them to create summaries. So, for the gist, that's pretty much what you're going to be doing. You're going to be summarizing off of the main points. So for number 4, for the wrap up, you're going to, it'll be completely after you finish doing the reading, and you're going to see if your predictions from the very beginning were true. And then you're going to ask questions to each other to make sure you understand. So, a question example would be you would ask your friend, um, so what color did it say that penguins, like their fur is? And your friend would answer based off what they learned from the reading. And then after that, you're going to write about what you learned. All right, so I know there's a lot going on this page right now, but we'll break it down and figure out what we're going to be doing. So, um, we looked at the passage Albert Einstein. So from the preview of the passage, from the title, and from the picture, I included the picture right here. From those, you can tell that there's going to be some sort of question being asked, or maybe Albert Einstein is going to be curious because there are question marks right here by his head. Maybe he's thinking about something. So for my prediction, I put that based on the title and the picture given, I predict it will be over him asking questions or being curious. All right, so now that we have our preview done, we're gonna look at our click and clunk, my bad. So I read over it and I didn't want to include everything that clicked just because the passage is long and it would not fit on this slide for me to do that. So, what you can do on your paper is just everything that clicks you can leave alone, like how I did in this area, how it's not highlighted, and anything that is a clunk, go ahead and highlight it, or if you wanted to, you could circle it. That way it just stands out and you know that that is what you need help on. So, if you want to read this, this is what was kind of confusing to me just because it talked about a lot of things that he thought about. And I just got lost in the amount of things and how many things he was saying. It just kind of lost me. So that is why it is my clunk. So moving on to get the gist. Um, I summed up the gist of the passage, and this is what I have for it. I put Albert Einstein's father gave him a compass. The compass piqued his curiosity, and he began to ask questions. Even though he didn't do well in school, his mind was thinking fast, and he was able to create scientific theories that changed the world. All right, so after we do that and we get the gist of it, we're going to do our wrap up. So, my wrap up states that I predicted it was going to have to do with Albert Einstein asking questions and being curious. And For the most part, it was correct because um, even though it wasn't maybe the curiosity I thought, but he was curious about the compass, and he asked questions about how things worked and just wanted to know about the many different things in life. So we're gonna move on. So here I will divide the class into 4 to 5 student groups. Um, and so I will give them another piece of the passage from the Albert Einstein passage, and I will have them collectively decide and what their steps are going to be, what the preview, what the click and clunks are, what the gist is, and the wrap up. And when all of this happens, once they all got it settled within their group, I will ask the class as a whole what the preview is. So I'll ask each group what their prediction will be for the reading, for that piece of the reading. And then I'll go through and ask about the clicks and the clunks for each group. I will also do that for getting the gist and for the wrap up. And so for the wrap up, we will make a large diagram about what all of the class agrees is the summary of the paragraph. For the independent practice, I will assign a brand new passage to the students, and I will place them in groups of 3. That way we're minimizing the groups, and so we can have a more critical thinking among fewer peers. And so I will have them write down what their answer is for their group of 3 on this paper that is over here on the right, with step 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this paper is going to be their independent study of the passage they were given. This is my article and summary. The article is Less is More: How to Teach Summary Writing. It is by Stacia Levy, and there is the link for the article. Here is my summary over the article, and here is my personal response. So, in conclusion to doing this project, there are many ways to complete and put together a summary, but most importantly, there are helpful strategies and methods to teach students to help them excel in making summaries. Making summaries helps in many ways, including reading, writing, critical thinking, and comprehension skills. So also this video link will be posted in this PowerPoint once it is uploaded. So, thanks for watching.